The red dust storms had become worse each year. By 2157, most people could not go outside without special masks. Earth was dying. The air was bad. The water was dirty. Plants struggled to grow. Animals were dying off. Humans had two choices: fix their home or find a new one. The rich people chose to leave. They used their money to build huge ships that could travel through space. They called them colony ships. These ships were designed to carry thousands of people to new planets. The rich promised they would send help once they found a good place to live. Nobody really believed them. Alan Morgan watched from his apartment roof as the last colony ship lifted off. The massive vessel pushed through the brown clouds that always covered the sky now. Its engines glowed bright blue against the dirty air. 50 million wealthy people had left on these ships. They abandoned 8 billion others. "They're not coming back," said Lisa Winters. She stood beside Alan on the roof. They had worked together at an aerospace company before the company shut down. Lisa's voice was flat, like she had expected this betrayal all along. Alan nodded slowly. His hands gripped the railing so tight his knuckles turned white. "Then we save ourselves." The next day, Alan and Lisa called a meeting. 20 former engineers gathered in an old warehouse. The air inside was filtered but still smelled like dust and chemicals. "We have the knowledge," Alan told the group. "We built those ships. We can build the machines to fix our planet." Some laughed, others looked angry. "With what resources?" asked Joe Kelly, a former project manager. "The rich took everything useful." "Not everything," Lisa said. She pointed to a map on the wall. "There are abandoned factories, military bases, research labs, places they didn't have time to strip clean. We start there." It wasn't easy. The first year, half their group died from the bad air or contaminated food. But they kept working. They built small machines that could clean the air around a single building. Then they built bigger ones. 5 years after the ships left, their team had grown to 300 people. They had a working factory that made air filters. They traded these filters to farmers who were growing food in protected greenhouses. 10 years after the ships left, cities around the world were using Alan and Lisa's designs. Big air cleaning towers stood in city centers. They sucked in the bad air and pushed out cleaner air. The skies above some cities began to look less brown and more gray. Scientists created special bacteria that could eat plastic waste and harmful chemicals. These bacteria turned the waste into simple compounds that plants could use. Dead zones in the ocean slowly came back to life. Engineers built better ways to remove salt from ocean water. This turned salty water into fresh water that people could drink and use for farming. Areas that had been dry desert for decades started to turn green again. By 2180, 23 years after the ships left, Earth was healing. The air in most places no longer needed filtering to breathe. The oceans were cleaner. Forests were growing back. Animals that people thought were gone forever were found living in remote areas. Humanity had grown stronger and more united. The old borders between countries meant less now. People worked together because they had to survive together. The technology created out of desperation was better than anything humans had made before. Alan was 65 now. His hair had turned white. His face had deep lines from years of worry and hard work. He was the director of the Earth Restoration Project, a group that coordinated the healing efforts around the world. Lisa worked with him. Her hair was gray, and she walked with a slight limp from an accident years ago when a filtration tower had collapsed. But her mind was still sharp, and she had become one of the best engineers on the planet. They stood together on the roof of the new Earth Restoration headquarters. It was built where Alan's old apartment building once stood. From here they could see the city stretching out below them. Trees lined the streets. Parks had real grass and flowers. Birds flew in a sky that was actually blue. "We did it," Lisa said. "We saved our home." Alan nodded but looked up at the sky with serious eyes. "They'll be back someday." "The colony ships?" Lisa asked. "Why would they come back?" "They wanted to find paradise." "Space isn't paradise," Alan said. "It's empty and cold and dangerous. Their ships will break down eventually. They'll run out of supplies. They'll get desperate. Lisa thought about this. And when they come back, they'll find a world that's better than the one they left, Alan said, and people who are stronger than those they abandoned. That night, Alan couldn't sleep. He went to his office and turned on his computer. For years, he had been working on a secret project. Only Lisa and a few others knew about it. On his screen was the design for a new kind of ship, not a colony ship to escape a dying world, but an exploration ship for a thriving one. It was smaller, faster, and more advanced than anything the rich had built. Alan had named it the Phoenix. Like the bird from old stories, humanity had risen from the ashes. Soon they would rise beyond Earth, not as refugees but as explorers. And when they found the colony ship struggling in the darkness of space, they would face a choice: abandon those who had abandoned them, or show that humanity had become something greater than it had been before. Alan smiled as he added the final touches to his design. The rich had left Earth thinking they were the future of humanity. They were wrong. The future remained with those who stayed and fought for their home. And soon that future would extend to the stars. 40 years passed since the last colony ship left Earth. The planet continued to heal. Forests grew where there had once been only dust. The oceans teemed with fish. The air was clean again, but humanity did not forget the abandonment. Alan Morgan had died 5 years ago at the age of 100. Lisa Winters now led the Earth Restoration Project. She was old too, but her mind remained sharp. Before he died, Alan had shown her his secret plans for a new kind of spaceship. "The Phoenix project is ready," said Peter Franklin, the head engineer. He stood with Lisa in a huge building near what used to be called the North Pole. Through the big windows they could see the ship. It was sleek and silver, not bulky like the colony ships had been. Alan would have been proud, Lisa said. She touched the glass. "How fast can it go?" 10 times faster than the colony ships, Peter said. Maybe more. The Phoenix was just the first. Over the next 20 years, Earth built a fleet of these fast ships. They were designed to find the colony ships and to explore beyond them. Earth was no longer running away from problems. Earth was reaching out with confidence. Olivia Bennett was chosen to command the first mission. She was 42 years old and had trained all her life for this moment. Her parents had told her stories about the bad times after the abandonment. Now she would lead humanity back to the stars. The launch day came. Thousands of people gathered to watch. The Phoenix sat on its launch pad, gleaming in the sun. Olivia walked to the ship with her crew. Daniel Wu was her second in command. Frank Miller was the pilot. Samantha Brooks was the doctor. Maria Garcia was the engineer. 10 other crew members followed them. As they walked, people cheered and threw flowers. Children waved small flags with the Phoenix symbol on them. The symbol showed Earth with wings rising from it. "They're counting on us," Daniel said quietly to Olivia. "I know," she replied, "and we won't let them down." Inside the ship, each crew member went to their station. Olivia sat in the commander's chair. She looked at the screens showing all the ship's systems. "All systems ready," Maria reported. "Control. Sequence beginning," Frank said. Outside, the crowd moved back. A voice counted down over loudspeakers. 10, 9, 8. Olivia thought of Alan Morgan and the others who had saved Earth. They had never given up. Neither would she. 3, 2, 1, launch. The Phoenix rose on a column of blue flame. It moved slowly at first, then faster and faster. The sky darkened, from blue to black. The stars came out. Earth became a blue ball below them. "We are in space," Frank announced. The crew cheered. Olivia smiled but stayed focused. This was just the beginning. For 3 days, they tested all the ship's systems in Earth orbit. Everything worked perfectly. Then it was time for the real test. "Prepare for superluminal jump," Olivia ordered. This was the new technology that made the Phoenix special. The colony ships had traveled at less than the speed of light. It would take them decades to reach even the nearest stars. The Phoenix could go faster than light. It could reach those same stars in days. Jump drive ready, Maria said. Coordinates set for Alpha Centauri system. Alpha Centauri was the closest star system to Earth. If any colony ships had reached a destination, they might be there. Engage. Jump drive, Olivia ordered. The stars outside the ship stretched into lines. There was a flash of light. The crew felt a strange pulling sensation. Then everything was normal again except the stars had changed position. Jump complete, Maria said. We are in the Alpha Centauri system. The crew cheered again. The superluminal. Jump had worked perfectly. They had just traveled a distance that would have taken the colony ships 4 years to cross. It had taken the Phoenix 17 seconds. Scan for any signs of human technology, Olivia ordered. Daniel worked at his console. Nothing yet. Wait, I'm picking up a signal. It's weak, but definitely human-made. Olivia leaned forward. Can you identify it? It's an old emergency beacon, Daniel said. The signal matches the colony ship Elysium. The Elysium had been the 5th colony ship to leave Earth. It had carried nearly 10,000 of Earth's richest people. Set a course to follow the signal, Olivia ordered. The Phoenix moved through the Alpha Centauri system. As they got closer to the signal, they could see something large floating in space. It was the Elysium, but it looked nothing like the gleaming ship that had left Earth. Its hull was damaged. Many of its solar panels were broken. It was spinning slowly, which meant its stabilizers weren't working properly. They're in trouble, Frank said. Scan for life signs, Olivia ordered. I'm reading several thousand human life signs, Daniel reported. They're alive, but power levels on the ship are very low. Open a communication channel, Olivia said. Maria worked at her console. Channel open. Olivia spoke clearly. Colony ship Elysium. This is Commander Olivia Bennett of the Earthship Phoenix. We are here to render assistance. For a long moment, there was no response. Then a scratchy voice came through the speakers. This is Captain Gregory Hayes of the Elysium. Did you say you're from Earth? That's impossible. Earth was dying when we left. Olivia smiled. Earth was dying, Captain Hayes. But we saved it. And now we've come to find you. There was silence again. Then, your ship. How did you get here? So quickly? Our sensors show you weren't here an hour ago. We have new technology, Olivia said. Earth has changed since you left, Captain. We'd like to come aboard and discuss how we can help you. More silence. Olivia could imagine the shock the colonists must be feeling. They had left Earth believing they were saving humanity. Now they were the ones who needed saving. We accept your offer of assistance, Hayes finally said. And thank you. As the Phoenix moved toward the damaged colony ship, Olivia thought about what would happen next. Earth had sent her not just to find the colonists, but to decide their fate. Should they be welcomed back to the home they had abandoned? Should they be left to make their own way? She looked at her crew. They had all grown up hearing stories about the abandonment. Some might want revenge, but Olivia believed humanity had to be better than that. Prepare a boarding party, she told Daniel. Let's go meet our long-lost cousins. Olivia, Daniel, and 2 security officers named Paul and Susan boarded the Elysium. The difference between the 2 ships was clear right away. The Phoenix was new, bright, and clean. The Elysium was old, dim, and smelled like too many people, had lived in a small space for too long. Captain Hayes met them at the airlock. He was a thin man with a gray beard. His uniform was worn and patched in many places. His eyes widened when he saw the Phoenix crew in their crisp blue uniforms with the Earth and Wing symbol. Welcome aboard, Hayes said. His voice shook a little. I must admit we never expected to see anyone from Earth again. We never expected to be abandoned, Olivia replied. Her voice was calm, but firm. Yet, here we are. Hayes looked down. Many of us disagreed with the decision to leave, but we were not in charge. Olivia nodded. Show us your ship, Captain. We need to understand your situation. Hayes led them through the Elysium. The hallways were narrow and crowded with people. Many looked thin and tired. They stared at the visitors from Earth with wide eyes and whispered to each other. Our life support systems are failing, Hayes explained. Food production is down to 30%. We've been rationing for years. The water recyclers need parts we can't make. They entered the ship's control room. It was filled with old computer, screens and equipment that looked like museum pieces to Olivia. What happened? Daniel asked. You were supposed to find a new planet to live on. Hayes sighed. We visited 12 planets in this system. None could support human life. Some had toxic atmospheres. Others had no water. One had too much radiation. We've been searching for 40 years, but our engines are failing. We can't go much farther. What about the other colony ships? Olivia asked. We lost contact with most of them years ago, Hayes said. A few are still in the system facing the same problems we are. The others went to different star systems. We don't know if they found planets or not. Olivia looked at the tired faces of the Elysium's crew. These were the descendants of the people who had abandoned Earth. But they were not the same people. They had been born on this ship. They had never seen Earth. They had never made the choice to leave. We need to discuss your situation with Earth, Olivia said. Please prepare a complete report on your ship's condition and your population. We'll return to our ship and contact Earth. Back on the Phoenix, Olivia called a meeting with her crew. What do you think we should do with them? She asked. Opinions were divided. Some, like Frank and Samantha, felt the colonists deserved help. Others, like Maria, were less forgiving. My grandparents died in the dust storms while these people's ancestors flew away in their fancy ships, Maria said angrily. Why should we help them now? Because we're better than that, Daniel said quietly. We saved Earth when it was hard to do so. We can save these people too. Olivia listened to everyone before making her decision. Then she contacted Earth using the superluminal communication system. The message would take only minutes to reach, home instead of years. She spoke with the World Council, the group that now governed Earth. They discussed the situation for hours. Finally, a decision was reached. 3 days later, Olivia invited Captain Hayes and his officers to the Phoenix. They sat in the meeting room looking nervous. The World Council has made its decision, Olivia announced. The people of the Elysium will be allowed to return to Earth. Hayes and his officers gasped. One woman began to cry. Really? Hayes asked. After what our ancestors did? Yes, Olivia said. But there are conditions. You will return as equal citizens, not as a special group. You will share all your ship's resources and technology with Earth, and you will work alongside everyone else to continue improving our world and expanding into space. Hayes nodded quickly. Of course. We accept these terms. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, Olivia said. There's more. The people of Earth will be told about your return. Some will welcome you, others will be angry. You must understand that trust will take time to build. We understand, Hayes said. When can we leave? We've already sent a message to Earth. They're sending 2 more ships like the Phoenix. They'll be here in 2 weeks. With all 3 ships working together, we can tow the Elysium back to Earth. The journey will take about a month. One of Hayes's officers frowned. A month? But it took us 4 years to get here. Daniel smiled. As Commander Bennett said, Earth has changed. The Phoenix crew spent the next 2 weeks helping the Elysium repair its most critical systems. They shared food and medical supplies. Olivia ordered Samantha to treat the sickest colonists. When the other Earth ships arrived, the work went even faster. Finally, they were ready to begin the journey home. The 3 Earth ships attached special towing devices to the Elysium. They would pull the colony ship through a series of superluminal jumps. On the day of departure, Olivia visited the Elysium one last time. She found Hayes on the ship's observation deck, looking out at the stars. Are you ready to see Earth? She asked. Hayes nodded. I've only seen it in old pictures and videos. My parents told me it was a dying world. I never thought I'd actually see it. It almost died, Olivia said, but people refused to give up on it. I'm sorry, Hayes said suddenly. For what my ancestors did. For leaving. Olivia was quiet for a moment. The people who were abandoned had 2 choices. They could be bitter about being left behind, or they could work together to save their home. They chose to save their home. Now we have two choices again. We can reject you, or we can welcome you back and be stronger together. And you've chosen to welcome us, Hayes said. Yes, Olivia replied, because that's what makes us human. Not just surviving, but helping others survive too. As the ships prepared for the first jump toward Earth, Olivia thought about how strange life was. The people who had left Earth thinking they were saving humanity were now being saved by the people they had abandoned. The ones who stayed behind and faced their problems were now the stronger ones, the ones who ruled the skies. Earth had done more than survive. It had thrived. And now it was reaching out to embrace even those who had once turned their backs on it. That, Olivia thought, was true strength. The jump sequence began. The stars stretched into lines. Earth was waiting. 5 years passed since the Elysium returned to Earth. The 9,000 colonists had been welcomed back, though not everyone on Earth was happy about it. Some people still felt anger about the abandonment, but most understood that these colonists were not the ones who had made the choice to leave. Earth had changed in other ways too. The success of the Phoenix mission led to the building of more ships. Earth now had a fleet of 20 exploration vessels. They had found and rescued 5 more colony ships. Nearly 40,000 former colonists now lived on Earth again. Olivia Bennett had been promoted. She was now Admiral Bennett in charge of all Earth space operations. Today she stood in the control center of Earth Space Command. The room was full of screens showing ships and star maps. Admiral, the Horizon has returned from Tau Ceti, said her assistant Carl. The Horizon was one of the newest ships in the fleet. Its captain was Ryan Ellis, a young officer Olivia had personally selected. Tell Captain Ellis I want to see him right away, Olivia said. An hour later, Ryan arrived at Olivia's office. He looked tired but excited. Admiral, we found something. At Tau Ceti, he said after saluting. Something big. Olivia leaned forward. Another colony ship? Ryan shook his head. No. We found aliens. Olivia's eyes widened. In all their explorations, humans had found no signs of intelligent alien life. Until now. Tell me everything, she said. Ryan sat down and explained. The Horizon had been exploring the Tau Ceti system. When they detected unusual energy readings, they investigated and discovered a massive ship. It was clearly not human-made. It was 3 times the size of the Phoenix, with a strange oval shape and no visible engines. Did you make contact? Olivia asked. We tried, Ryan said. We sent messages in all formats we could think of. For 3 days there was no response. Then they sent this. He handed Olivia a data tablet. On it was a series of mathematical equations. Our science officer Samantha Jones figured it out, Ryan continued. It's a language primer. They're teaching us how to talk to them. Olivia studied the equations. This was a historic moment. Humans were not alone in the universe. What else do we know about them? She asked. Not much, Ryan admitted. They call themselves the Vora. They seem peaceful. They're interested in us, especially in how we saved Earth. But they're cautious. They want to meet with Earth's leaders. Olivia nodded. This would require careful handling. She would need to inform the World Council immediately. 3 weeks later, a meeting was arranged. The Vora ship had traveled to Earth and now orbited alongside Earth's space stations. The alien representatives would meet with human leaders on the largest station, Unity. Olivia stood in the meeting room with 5 members of the World Council. Everyone was nervous but trying not to show it. The door opened. 2 Vora entered. They were not what anyone expected. They looked almost like tall, thin humans, but their skin was pale blue. They had no hair, and their eyes were large and dark. They wore simple silver clothing. Welcome to Earth, said Councillor Patel, the head of the World Council. We are honored by your visit. The taller Vora spoke. Its voice had a musical quality. We are pleased to meet you. We have watched your kind for a long time. This surprised everyone. Councillor Patel asked, You have been observing Earth? Yes, the Vora replied. For many centuries. We saw your recent crisis. We saw some of you leave while others stayed. We saw how you healed your world. It was impressive. Why didn't you contact us before? Olivia asked. The Vora turned its large eyes to her. We were waiting. Waiting for what? She asked. To see which humans would prove stronger, those who fled their problems or those who faced them. The Vora explained. We only wished to establish relations with the stronger group. The room was silent as the humans absorbed this information. The aliens had been testing them all along. And what did you decide? Counselor Patel asked finally. Those who stayed, who fought to heal their world instead of abandoning it, showed true strength, the Vora said. That is why we are here now. Over the next few days, the humans learned more about the Vora. They were part of a loose alliance of intelligent species from different star systems. This alliance shared knowledge and resources, but each species governed itself. The Vora had been tasked with monitoring developing species like humans. We would like to invite Earth to join our alliance, the Vora representative said during the final meeting. Your perspective would be valuable. Many worlds face environmental challenges. Your experience could help them. The World Council was excited by this offer. Joining this alliance would give humans access to new technologies and new worlds. What about the colony ships? Olivia asked. Some were still lost among the stars. Will you help us find them? The Vora seemed confused by this question. They abandoned you. Why do you wish to find them? Because they're human, Olivia said simply. Just like us. The Vora discussed this among themselves in their own language. Finally, they agreed to help locate the remaining colony ships. A month later, Olivia stood on the bridge of her new ship, the Unity. It was twice the size of the Phoenix and equipped with technology shared by the Vora. Its mission was to find the lost colony ships and offer them a way home. Beside her stood Captain Hayes of the Elysium. After returning to Earth, he had joined Earth Space Command. Now he would help find the other colonists. It's ironic, Hayes said as they prepared for their first jump. Those who left Earth to find a new home among the stars never found one. Those who stayed on Earth are now leading humanity to the stars. Olivia nodded. The Vora told me something interesting. They said that in their experience, the species that face extinction and overcome it are the ones that go on to achieve greatness. So the abandonment was actually good for humanity? Hayes asked, surprised. It forced us to solve our problems rather than running from them, Olivia replied. It made us stronger, more resourceful. It taught us to value what we have and to protect it. The Unity's engines hummed as the jump countdown began. The stars outside began to stretch. Ready to find your old friends? Olivia asked Hayes. He nodded. Ready to bring them home. The ship jumped, vanishing in a flash of light. Earth's newest chapter had begun. The abandoned had become the rescuers. The left behind had become the leaders. Humans ruled the skies, not through conquest but through perseverance and compassion, and the stars had never seemed brighter. 50 years had passed since humans first met the Vora. Earth had changed so much in that time. It was now the center of a growing network of human worlds. When Earth joined the alliance of spacefaring species, they gained access to new technologies and knowledge. This helped them find and settle planets that were good for humans to live on. All the lost colony ships had been found. Most chose to return to Earth. Some decided to join the new human colonies on other worlds. Either way, the human family was whole again. On this special day, people across human space celebrated what they called Resilience Day. It marked 150 years since the colony ships had left Earth. Once it had been a day of sadness and anger. Now it was a day to remember how far humans had come. Admiral Olivia Bennett was old now. At 92, her hair was white and her face had many lines. But her mind was still sharp, and she still advised the World Council. Today she stood on Orc, the observation deck of Earth Orbital Station Unity. Below her, Earth looked blue and green and healthy. A young man joined her at the window. His name was Kai Nolan. He was 30 years old and had just been named Earth's newest ambassador to The Alliance. It's beautiful, Kai said, looking down at Earth. Hard to believe it was almost destroyed once. Olivia nodded. I grew up hearing stories about those times. My parents lived through the dust storms and the food shortages. My father helped build the first air filters. And now we're teaching other worlds how to heal their planets, Kai said with pride. It was true. Earth had become famous among the Alliance species for its environmental recovery techniques. Teams of human scientists traveled to other worlds to help them fix their own environmental problems. The Vora told me something interesting at the last Alliance meeting, Olivia said. They've been watching thousands of developing worlds throughout the galaxy. They've noticed a pattern. The species that face extinction and overcome it are the ones that go on to achieve greatness among the stars. Kai thought about this. So, the abandonment was the best thing that could have happened to us, Olivia finished. It forced us to solve our problems rather than running from them. Below them, a fleet of ships was preparing to launch. They were exploration vessels, heading for parts of the galaxy no human had ever seen. Each ship had the symbol of United Earth painted on its side, a globe with stars expanding outward from it. When do you leave for the Vora homeworld? Olivia asked. Tomorrow, Kai replied. I'm nervous. I'll be the youngest ambassador Earth has ever sent. You'll do well, Olivia assured him. Just remember who we are. We're not the humans who run from challenges. We're the humans who face them. We're the humans who endure. Kai nodded. And now we rule the skies. Not through conquest, Olivia corrected, but through cooperation and determination. That's the true meaning of strength. That's what the Vora saw in us when they chose to make contact. The station rotated slowly, and Earth moved out of view. The stars spread out before them, countless points of light. Olivia remembered when those stars had seemed so far away, so impossible to reach. Now human ships traveled between them regularly. Look there, Olivia said, pointing to a bright light moving among the stars. That's the Unity 2, heading to the new colony on Proxima Centauri b. The Unity 2 was the newest and largest ship in Earth's fleet. It could carry 10,000 people to the growing colony. It had been named after Olivia's old ship. My grandparents are on that ship, Kai said. They're going to help set up the new university there. Olivia smiled. Human knowledge was spreading to the stars. Not just technology, but art, music, literature, and history, including the history of Earth's near destruction and amazing recovery. There's something else I wanted to ask you, Kai said. The Vora have invited Earth to join a special project. They want to find worlds where intelligent life is just beginning to develop, worlds that might be facing their own environmental crises. They want Earth to help guide these younger species. Like mentors, Olivia said thoughtfully. Exactly. The Vora believe that humans have a unique perspective. We know what it's like to nearly lose everything and then fight back from the edge. Olivia considered this. It seemed right that humans who had almost destroyed their world and then saved it should now help others avoid the same mistakes. Tell the Vora we accept, she said. Later that day, Olivia returned to her quarters on the station. Her room had a small garden with plants from Earth. She liked to tend to them herself, feeling the soil in her hands. It reminded her of how precious life was. On her desk was an old photograph. It showed Alan Morgan and Lisa Winters standing in front of one of the first air cleaning towers. They were smiling despite the brown sky behind them. Olivia touched the photo gently. Without them and others like them, humanity might have perished on a dying Earth. Instead, humans had saved their planet. They had reached the stars. They had found their place in a community of intelligent species. And they had never forgotten the lesson of those difficult years. Face your problems, work together, and never give up. Olivia looked out her window, at the stars. Somewhere out there, new species were taking their first steps toward the stars. Some would face disasters of their own making, just as humans had. Now humans would be there to help them, to show them that even the worst problems could be overcome with courage and determination, from abandoned to rescuers, from the edge of extinction to guides for other worlds. from a species that nearly destroyed its home to one that helped heal many worlds. Humans truly did rule the skies now, not through domination, but through wisdom earned the hard way. Through learning that true strength came not from running away from challenges, but from facing them together. And as Olivia watched the stars, she felt certain that humanity's greatest chapters were still to come.